Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released iOS 26.5 Beta 4. iOS 26.5 Beta 4 is available around the world at the same time for all developers on iOS 26 supported devices. iOS 26.5 Public Beta 4 hopefully will be out by the time you're watching this video or sometime tomorrow. Now, when it comes to the overall size, I installed this on my 17 Pro Max. It came in at 16.83 gigabytes. However, some people saw it as small as about 3 gigabytes up to over 20 gigabytes. We don't know exactly why. This does happen from time to time, but as far as the overall install size and how much storage it's taking, we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Along with this, Apple also released iPadOS 26.5 Beta 4, macOS 26.5 Beta 4, tvOS and HomePodOS 26.5 Beta 4, watchOS 26.5 Beta 4, and visionOS 26.5 Beta 4, along with updates for older Macs as well. Now, as far as the overall build number, let's take a look at that and talk about what's new. So we'll go into Settings, we'll go down to General, then Software Update, give it a moment to load, go to More Details, and then tap on the version number. And as you can see, the build number is 23F5069B. This particular update does not have a modem update coming from Beta 3 to Beta 4, so no changes there whatsoever. And as far as new features, let's take a look at that. Now, the first thing, or really the only thing we can physically see, is if we go into our settings here. So go all the way to the bottom, go to Apps, go to Messages, and within Messages, if we scroll down to RCS, so if you have this option, depending on where you live, and within here, of course, we have end-to-end encryption beta. It looks like they've added some additional text if you enable the end-to-end encryption beta. If we turn it off, you'll see the text disappears. Turn it on, give it a moment, and the text should reappear. So if I go back out and then back in, you'll see it says RCS messages are encrypted end-to-end when available for all recipients in a conversation. End-to-end encryption is not available for all devices or carriers. So it looks like we hopefully will get this with a public release of iOS 26.5. And as far as what it looks like when it's encrypted, and you can see here where one of the RCS messages is not encrypted, but then another one is encrypted with the little lock next to it. One thing we thought we would have, at least with this beta, so far we're not seeing, has to do with a new Pride wallpaper. According to Mark Gurman, we would get a new Pride Luminance wallpaper. Of course, this could be available with the RC or once it releases to the public. Now, there are no other physical features or changes that I've seen so far moving from Beta 3 to Beta 4, but there are quite a few bug fixes to talk about. But before we talk about those, let's talk about what iOS 26.5 is bringing so far. It's bringing end-to-end encryption, like I mentioned already. Notification forwarding is coming back to the European Union, so basically you should be able to forward notifications to maybe third-party watches and things like that, as well as have live activities pushed to third-party devices also. Of course, in Apple Maps, there's some changes here. And within Apple Maps, some of the glyphs have changed here at the top. We also get suggested places, and unfortunately, we'll also get some ads later on. Now, this is not very invasive. It's more like the App Store, but it is something that will show up and show up on all devices, it seems. But it does depend on where you live. Also, the Magic Keyboard, Magic Mouse, and Magic Trackpad also should pair automatically, and we'll let you know that, so just like it does on the Mac. And also, when you transfer to Android, you should have additional options. So if you're transferring your iPhone over maybe to an Android device, or you just want an additional device and you want to transfer it there, you have the option to transfer to Android, and now you'll have options to transfer a certain amount of messages. So if you don't want to send all of your messages, you can send just 30 days or 1 year. In addition to this, there's also a new option for the keyboard. So if we go into General and then Keyboard, and within your keyboard options, you can add Inuktitut and Inuktitut Latin. So those are new options in iOS 26.5, along with enabling developers to offer monthly payments for annual subscriptions with discounted rates and things like that. So those are all things coming with iOS 26.5, along with quite a few bug fixes. When it comes to bug fixes, the first thing I noticed right away is if I lock the device, unlock it, swipe up, and swipe over, it's no longer laggy. It seems like all of the lag so far is gone, where we had quite a bit of lag in Beta 3. So at least I did on this phone after a while. It was very smooth, but there was lag from time to time. So far, I haven't seen it lag, but maybe it'll lag during the video. But if we scroll over here, scroll in the app library, ProMotion is nice and smooth. All of the animations are smooth here, going in and out of apps. Just everything seems to be nice and fast. So back into an app, back out of an app, everything seems to be very smooth, what we would typically expect from an iPhone. The keyboard is also super smooth. So this is an iPhone 17 Pro Max on iOS 26.5 Beta 4. And you can see that here. It keeps up fine, no real issues, no mistypes. It seems to be doing a lot better. Now, this doesn't mean autocorrect is improved. That's something Apple will probably update in future versions with iOS 27. Also, text to Siri is working even better than before. So now that they've fixed it with suggestions, bring it up here, and the suggestions show up almost immediately where it took some time before. Also, if maybe we type Apple, you'll see that they change immediately. It seems like the speed of everything has just improved in general. Also, Apple CarPlay, at least with Beta 3, had zero issues for anyone in my weekend follow-up video where they actually participated in the poll and the comments, and no issues whatsoever to report there. So it looks like it's fixed for most people, and then also it seems like it's fixed the wallpaper bug. I know many of you are sick of hearing this, as it's been years it seems at this point, but you'll see if I swipe up, it stays pretty saturated. Now, it may fade out a little bit and then resaturate. Maybe that's how they've solved the issue, but it looks like they've resolved the issue for many people. Now, let me know if it's working for you. Hopefully it's finally fixed. As far as other things they've fixed, well, if we go into Apple's public-facing release notes, go to iOS 26.5 Beta 4, give it a second to load and scroll down. Within the Store Kit area, they've resolved two new issues. Now, again, this is more for developers, but you'll see that they've fixed the app version field. You can see here that's resolved, and also transaction.current entitlement. So those have been resolved in this update. That's all they've mentioned here. The other things they've mentioned seem to be the same as Beta 3. Now, as far as releases this week, of course, we're getting close to a public release. I don't know that we'll see anything else the rest of this week as far as iOS updates, but iOS 26.5 RC or release candidate could be as soon as the 4th next week. So that's what I'm expecting at this point since we had Beta 4 today, and then that would mean the public release, as long as there's no additional issues, would be around May 11th. That will push this out, of course, to the public. We'll get RCS encryption, hopefully, finally, and all of the other features I already mentioned. Now, also after that, we'll see iOS 26.6 Beta 1, but many of us are just waiting for iOS 27 Beta 1, which we'll see for the first time on June 8th. So typically after the WWDC 2026 keynote, we'll see iOS 27 Beta 1, and then of course the public beta in July and betas throughout the summer, and then a public release in mid-September around the iPhone 18 launch. So I'm looking forward to that, and of course, what they're actually going to resolve. And if it's just about stability, making things smooth, even on older devices, I definitely would welcome it. Now, if you're wondering if you should install iOS 26.5 Beta 4 or Public Beta 4, absolutely. If you're on a previous beta, you want to install it, test it out, see if you have any lag. If you have issues, make sure to report it in feedback. So do that if you're having a beta on your phone or having any issues. I definitely recommend installing it if you're a beta tester. But if you're on iOS 26.4.2, I wouldn't recommend installing it until we get closer to the RC, at least on your main device. If you have a secondary device, you could try it out there. As far as the overall speed and everything else, like I mentioned before, it's super smooth, ProMotion is smooth, and the experience is much better than I've seen on iPhone for quite some time. So I've yet to see lag. I don't know if you've seen it in this video, but again, just swiping, locking the phone, unlocking, let's see if it does it here. Again, it's nice and smooth. So this is a great surprise. I'm glad to see this is finally resolved, and hopefully it makes this smoothness to the final release. Now, as far as overall heat, of course, when it first installed, it was a huge update. It processed a lot. It stayed quite warm for a while, completely normal, of course, as it's doing some heavy processing, but it's cooled down nicely so far. So it seems like it's going to be better. I don't know that we can expect much more since we actually have a vapor chamber. It's doing quite a great job. And of course, as it gets hotter in the summer, depending on where you live in the world, it's going to heat up a little bit more, but it seems to be managing it just fine. And my display has yet to dim even when it's quite hot. When it comes to battery life, let's go ahead and take a look at mine so far. So we'll get out of the keyboard settings we talked about earlier, go into battery health. I'm at 100% capacity with 71 cycles. I've been using this full time for quite some time. And if we go to my battery usage on Beta 3, I had 46 minutes the other day. I'm not sure why it's so little. I'm not sure if it measured it wrong, but 46 minutes of screen active time, 50 minutes of screen idle time using 31% of the battery. If we take a look at Saturday, 2 hours and 12 minutes, so not great there, but it did seem to be pretty good a few days ago. 4 hours and 48 minutes using 67% of the battery. And hopefully this improves quite a bit from here. It does seem like it is getting better throughout the betas, and we'll talk more about that in the weekend follow-up video. When it comes to overall storage, let's compare it with Beta 3 on the 17 Pro Max. So we'll go to General and then iPhone Storage. With Beta 3 on the left, Beta 4 on the right, you'll see we have the exact same size as far as iOS. So as I've mentioned before, even though the install size was fairly large, it overwrites what was there before and doesn't take up additional space. But you'll see even Apple Intelligence is the exact same size. So 7.53 gigabytes for Apple Intelligence, 14.23 for iOS. When it comes to system storage, it goes up, or system data rather, it goes up and down as needed, and I've not seen any issues from this. When it comes to benchmarks, I did run it actually 4 different times. So I had 3 results that were very consistent. The last result was a little bit lower, so it was probably processing in the background, but these 4 results here are from today. So if we take a look at this one seems to be the best for multi-core. So 9,793 for multi-core, 3,753 for single core. We can get close to 10,000 usually, but this is well within the margin of error. And like I said, it's performing quite well. So no real issues to report. We'll check this on the weekend follow-up and see if it improves even more then, or if it changes. That did seem to stutter a little bit when I swiped home. Let's go back in, try that one more time. It looks okay now, but there was that flash there. So maybe they still have a few bugs to work out, or maybe it's still just processing and it needs to finish. But let me know if it's much smoother for you in the comments below. And so that's everything with iOS 26.5 Beta 4. Not a huge update, but it does seem to be more refined and much smoother overall. Let me know your experience with it in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.